I don't care how much sense it makes. I can't use the metric system. I like the American system where I get to use things like bushels and furlongs and fathoms and chains as measurement. Instead, whenever we go to Europe, everybody's on metric and they serve food portions in the metric system, and I don't understand. I got to turn to my long-suffering wife, Marie. Would you agree that I overeat a wee bit on European vacations?
What are you measuring, sir?
Well, they
You mentioned all of these things. I don't
Yes.
even know what a chain is.
A chain?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. A chain, it's I think it's 66 feet.
How do you even know these things?
Well, because it's so many parts of a furlong. A furlong
Okay,
is 660. What?
Words. I just like words. Like,
Hey.
I don't know any of this stuff, but yes.
I think
it
I'm
is
right on this.
It's confusing.
Yeah, it is. And
Yeah.
the metric system makes perfect sense. I don't understand it because I order food and they say it's so many kilograms of food.
I do it too, and I overeat because you're right. I don't want them to bring the food and us not eat it.
Because that's an insult.
And it's a metric crap ton
Yes.
sometimes because we're like, we will have that. And then they bring you a kilo of like things, and you're like,
I gotta
that's
eat
a
it.
whole family's worth of a meal. Like, you're
Challenge accepted. So what do? We decide to dedicate this program to a tour of Italy.
which I like to call Eatily,
Italy.
because that's all it did.
Which is known for food and the problems therein. Hijinks ensue.
Oh
Are you
my.
ready for this?
Yes, I am.
Voca Vacay starts right now.
Prepare yourself for the bestest, amazingest, and overall super duperest travel program in the history of ever. Vacation like it's your job and live vicariously through yourself. It's time now for Voca Vacay.
We would like to welcome, as we kick off this episode, new countries to
Yes!
our ever-expanding, ever-growing media conglomerate that is Voca Vacay worldwide.
Voca Vacay, we have new countries.
Wow, that was like a jingle for a second.
I'm so bad at those.
We have added three new countries to the Voca Vacay family.
I am so excited.
And this was a surprise to me because when I saw these countries, I was like, one of them I figured like, yeah, we'll get this at some point.
Right.
But then there was a surprise right here.
I love a good surprise.
Nepal.
I know. What is that?
Hey, shout out to Nepal. Thanks for tuning in. That's
Are they
hot.
the Nepalese
The Nepalese? Yeah.
that are like
Nepalese,
listening
yeah.
to us?
Yeah.
That is the coolest thing ever.
That's like Himalayan mountains. I love it. Another one, Vietnam.
That is super cool.
Very
I've
cool.
always wanted to go.
We got to go there.
Yeah,
I've heard
we
great
will.
things. And then one, Pakistan.
Now, see, that's a shocker.
Yeah?
Yeah, because like, I don't know. I guess I just didn't think that they'd have access to all of the media stuff that's out there for everybody.
Yeah.
I know certain countries only have access to certain things.
Yeah, and certain countries are more wired and have more internet, better infrastructure, electric,
Yeah.
whatever you call it.
Yeah.
But it's like Pakistan, Vietnam, and Nepal. I'm just like, wow, how random is that?
I think
So,
that is super cool.
welcome, 1,000 welcomes. Glad to have you
Yeah.
playing along today. And we hope you love this show because today we're talking about Viva Italia, or as you called it, Eatily.
I like to call it Eatily because that's all I did there.
We decided to eat our way across Italy.
Yeah.
And we hit a couple of spots. And this is part one
Yes.
of a multi-part, 4-part series on an
Yes.
MSC cruise that we took the Mediterranean.
Yeah, and so we did a Mediterranean cruise, what we just, lovingly refer to as our Med cruise.
Med cruise.
And then
First
we
one
did
ever.
several ports on the west coast of Italy.
Yes.
Yes. And so that's what we thought we'd start with for this episode.
Yeah, so we're doing Italy, and then the next shows or the next episodes that we're going to have with us, you'll hear us continue the cruise. But
Yeah.
this is dedicated to all ports Italy thereof.
That we did on the cruise.
And they were wonderful.
They were tasty.
Lots of fun. So we decided to kick this off at Christopher Columbus's home digs, Genoa.
Genoa has a special place in my heart now.
Oh, it is.
I had no
lovely.
idea. Pulling in and then like docking there and looking out from the ship and seeing the actual port, it took my breath away. It was one of the most beautiful ports I have ever pulled into on a cruise.
Italy is, if the only part of Italy you ever see is Genoa, you'd be like, oh, I get it now. Genoa is absolutely fabulous to look at.
A lot of people refer to it as Italy's hidden gem.
Yeah, I
because
believe
of the food and just like the centers and the land or the architecture and everything. It's gorgeous.
It's got lots of culture. It's got lots of architectural palaces. It has all sorts of really cool historical places to look at. And it also has the food, which of course should we just talk about the food now or wait till we talk about our food?
I mean, I thought, when you think of Italy, you're thinking of like, Rome or whatever, Florence, you're thinking of like the Highlands,
Right.
a lot of of wine. You're thinking about the pasta. I mean, but here's the thing. I had no idea that a lot of people told us on the cruise, because there's a lot of international travelers on the cruise.
And there's repeat cruisers as well who've been there. Yeah.
And they're like, no, Genoa's where you get the food.
Yes.
And I'm like, I had no idea.
Yeah.
How lucky are we that we're getting to do this?
Genoa was great.
Let's start with the food.
Okay, so in Genoa, they're known for a couple of things in particular, and this is a coastal because obviously it's on a cruise, so we pull into the port there. Seafood.
Yes.
Love the seafood.
Yes.
They love the what is the focaccia?
Oh, the focaccia. Focaccia.
Yeah.
The bread with like herbs on it.
Oh, yeah.
Bread with Italian herbs. It's like a flatter bread. It's a little denser. It's beautiful. You can put a lot of toppings, a lot of fixins on it. And yeah, but it's nice and like it's denser, but it's still fluffy. I mean, it's delicious. And then of course the seafood, because we're on a port.
Yes.
And so they have a lot of like, seafood dishes with rice and seafood like in bowls with like sauces.
And it's got
just beautiful,
clams and mussels and
beautiful
everything you'd ever
food.
want to have. They've got it there.
Yeah.
And it's so good. And of course, the one thing that they're really well known for, I'm not going to say pasta because pasta is all of Italy.
Sure.
But they have cornered the market on a pasta topping.
Yes, one of my favorites.
And it is
pesto.
Pesto.
I love me some pesto. When we grew basil last,
Yes.
I made a ton of pesto. It'll never be as good as what we had there.
Right.
I don't know. It's just those local ingredients grown where they're grown in those soils and like whatever. But like it's just delicious.
Yeah, and basil, for if you don't know, it's basically pine nuts. For pesto, it's you put in the basil, put in pine nuts, some olive oil, and you can add in Parmesan, some spices, stuff like that. It's actually a fairly simple sauce to make, but it's very complex in flavor.
You've got to
get the payoff is amazing on these things.
You've got to get the ratios right. And you've got to have like really nice, good, sweet basil.
Yeah.
So you couldn't use something like Thai basil in this. I mean, you've got to have that Italian type basil, and you've got to have the pine nuts because they are a softer nut and they give off more oil. And so it's a lot nicer. I mean, it's the perfect ingredient to make pesto which is going to be your sauce that your noodles are going to soak up.
Yes.
And so it's, and then the good olive oil and oh my gosh.
So we just walk into the port of Genoa. We gain 5 pounds automatically.
Yeah. You just breathe the air.
You just go, I just loosened my pants by a little bit. So
I believe we walked past a store and my thigh went,
my gosh.
That's my hands spreading outwards. Like,
so here's what happens. We walk in and there's beautiful stuff all over the place. The streets are lovely. It's very walkable, by the way.
Yes.
And so we get in there and go, oh, wow, let's start walking around. And so we go down this road, which basically shoots off the port. It's called the Via di Porto Soprano.
Yes.
So we go down there and there's shops. There's lots of street art along the way. A lot of really cool stuff you buy. There's food stalls. There's all sorts of really nice stuff. And if you want a souvenir, basically, and I didn't feel like I was over-pressured as a tourist because they see the boat. They know who you are.
Yes. In fact, this is one of the only places where I felt that we weren't targeted as tourists.
That's the word. That's the word.
Strongly. Yeah. And it was great because it's like these open air market sort of like stalls and souvenir stalls and it's just amazing.
Very casual, very relaxed. You can't be in a bad mood if you live there, I guess, because we go walk through. It's like, hey, you're American tourists. We're like, hey, how's it going? Good to see you. And we speak no Italian.
Oh, I love it
at all.
But here's the thing: you walk by and you're not targeted. No one's like pressuring you.
No.
But when you look down and you see, here are your salamis, here are your finest meats and cheeses, then I feel pressured because I want to buy it all.
Yeah, because there's hams, there's salamis, and it's all the smoked meat goodness. And it's like, oh my gosh, thank you, Genoa, for your culinary contributions to the world.
Oh my gosh.
Because you guys are stellar at what you do.
And you can just buy this stuff and walk around.
Yeah.
Like the bread, the salami, the cheeses, the olives, OMG.
Focaccia.
It's so good.
I got you get used to that word, focaccia.
And so, sorry, but one of the things, it's not just the food. They had like all kinds of souvenirs. And one of the things that stood out to me was I had no idea what this was. I kept seeing these little dolls.
Oh, yeah, the little doll.
The little witch dolls.
The witch. A witch.
I had no idea. So we had to look this up when we got back on the boat. And we bought my mom one and sent it to her.
Yes, absolutely.
And so it was really interesting. Like, I had no idea.
The doll, let's describe the doll. It's an elderly woman.
Yeah.
And she has, I guess, like a sack over her back. And she has like a broom.
A broom, yeah.
Basically.
And she looks she's got the wart on her nose. And she kind of looks like a witch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's got on kind of witch attire.
But the thing is, she's a good witch.
She's a good witch.
And here's the story. And her name, and I hope I don't screw this up. I really La Befana.
I think that's right. I mean, we wouldn't know. It's not part of our culture.
Yeah. What happens is that she's a Christmas witch.
Yeah.
And what she will do is, we got Santa Claus here. There's Kris Kringle in other parts of the world, and these sort of universal, but they're also regional, people that help out. In Italy, they also get La Befana.
So yeah, and I think that's how you say it. Like, of course we wouldn't know, but so I'm sure someone will text us, tweet us, DM us, whatever, and say more about this. But what we did look up was, I mean, she has ties to even our Christian cultural stuff.
Yes.
And so there's lots of different stories that surround her, but basically she couldn't have kids, or she lost her son. Is that what it was?
One thinking is that there are a couple of anecdotal tales. One is that she, the Magi who were going to see Jesus in Bethlehem and Jerusalem and all that, when these things were happening, they passed by her house. And at one point they said, "Can you help us?" And she said, "You can stay the night with us, or you can stay the night with me. I'll give you shelter, but I can't go on."
Right.
Another was that her child died and she went with them.
That's what it is. Yeah.
And so there's different variations of this, but the end result is
she gets to have all the children in Italy as her children.
Yes.
And so she brings them gifts.
Yes.
Every year.
On Epiphany Day, which is January 5th. So
that is
just
so
after Christmas. So
Yeah.
you get bonus gifts, and that is so cool. And you have these little witch dolls all over the place.
When we looked it up, we were like, witch doll, Italy. And it was like, there were all kinds of there's some folklore with witches, just like the Salem witch trials. Around this area.
There's something that's not, so if you're thinking it's the witch trials, the Triora witch trials in that area, that's not them. It's this gal.
Yeah.
And she's wonderful.
And I think, we keep saying witch doll.
Yeah.
And so I think that's okay to say.
Yeah, because
that's what it looks like.
But she's a good witch.
Yes. And so, anyway, I thought it was interesting, and I was grateful that we were there at a time when they were selling these.
Yes.
Everyone was buying them, because had we been there before, they wouldn't have, after, then they wouldn't have been selling them, because we were there right before January 5th.
Yeah.
And so that was really cool.
So it's definitely a seasonal gift idea. So we saw that and went, oh, this is cool. So we picked up a little witch doll.
Yeah.
And then we kept on walking, and we found the massive fountain witch. Again, totally by accident. This is what happens when you don't use city maps or Wikipedia maps. I just go walking over, hey, there's a fountain over there. Let's check it out. This fountain is it's a massive fountain called Piazza De Ferrari.
Oh, I know. And we just followed everybody. That's where everybody was going.
Yeah, that's the easiest way. You want to know where the cool stuff is, you follow the crowd.
It was beautiful.
We totally did.
Yeah.
So we got the witch doll.
Yeah.
We got some little snackums. We see the art. We see the architecture.
Oh.
Lots of street artists, by the way. So very cool stuff you can
Gorgeous.
purchase.
We picked up some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get all these things, and then we realize, hey, I'm feeling a little bit peckish.
I was a little hungry.
Yeah.
It wasn't just from looking at the finest meats and cheeses.
No.
But also
I'm hungry right now, and I ate like 20 minutes ago. I could knock down some donuts. Why? What do you got?
This was the first time I've ever been to Italy. And so I was definitely on the prowl. I was what are we eating first, and when are we doing it?
There is something. It's named Ravioli House. And it's right there. Ravioli House. We're going to put the link on our website, vocavacay.com. So when you go and look at this, you'll be like, oh, yeah, Ravioli House. It's totally there.
But it was a small little shop, and you had to go down. You go in and you order, and then you go down the stairs into this sort of grotto basement-y area.
Yeah.
Which was super cool because the bricks were beautiful, and the architecture, and just these rounded hallways and cute little quaint tables. But here's the deal, you wouldn't have known it if you wouldn't have just been walking around, because they were kind of pushing on us on, stuff we were looking at on, other websites before we, left the cruise ship.
Right.
It was eat here. It's check this one out. It was this was number one on whatever site.
Yeah, these are the popular ones that everyone's going to go to get a feedback. Sure.
I just want to go and this is where the locals were. So when we got down there and sat down, it was it was just people on break during the day.
Yeah.
and they were just getting a feed.
The
and I was
nicest guys.
Is awesome.
They were so great. So we go in and we're like, how do you say two in Italian? I'm like, two, put up two fingers. He goes, yeah, an American. Yeah, come on. And they're like, yeah, come on. You're definitely welcome here.
Yeah.
We sit down and they give us the menus.
Yes.
Which was their first mistake. Because as soon as they give me a menu, here's what I get. It's you order things, and remember my griping about metric measurements earlier. Turns out you can order things in grams.
Oh, God.
Medium is 125 grams, a large is 180 grams, and extra large is 280 grams. And I'm not going to shy away from a fight here. Even though I'm on a cruise, I have to go back to the cruise ship where I have unlimited food waiting for me.
Right.
I'm
Right.
going to get the extra large.
Right.
I don't want to insult these people. No, bring it on, bring it on. So the way it works is that you can check out the menu and pick out your pasta and then pick out your toppings.
Right.
And so it's like if you want this sort of noodle with that sort of pasta and that sort of topping, or you pair it together and you make your own dish.
Yeah, so they had of course they had pesto.
The
and then
pesto's
they
so
had
good.
like browned butter. And then they you're like salivating as I'm talking about
I
it.
need a drool bib as you're speaking to me, woman. Keep going.
And then they had like your classic red, like your marinara. And then they had like an Alfredo, but not Alfredo like we have over here. It's
Right.
basically butter and Parmesan mixed in with your noodles
Oh.
or your ravioli. I mean, I didn't know what to do because I wanted to try a few things.
Yeah.
But you're right. We had all this food like waiting for us.
Yeah.
And so, but man, I'll tell you what, this was hands down by far the best Italian food I've ever had in my life.
Oh yeah, clearly.
And we've been to some real fancy Italian places,
Sure.
like out in Vegas, and I mean, there's nothing like paying for real, properly well done Italian food, real hand done noodles. Like
Yes.
that's a thing. But this, for some reason, it just knocked it all out of the park. I mean, it might have been because this was like, hey, I'm here and I'm in love with this place. I'm sure that had something to do with it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's just when you go somewhere and you have it as their local thing that they do every day.
Yeah.
Nothing else can compare, no matter how fancy you make it or how authentic you try and make it. This was the best.
We are going to put their link on our website, and more to the point, I will say this in all candor, and I'm not patting ourselves on the back for saying, hey, we found a really cool place. You should too. I will say this, however.
Yeah.
We were the only Americans in this place.
We were.
And this place was a hoppin'.
That's how you know it's good,
Yeah,
man.
and so when everybody else is speaking around you, and they're saying words like buongiorno and Italia, and
Just like that.
and focaccia.
Focaccia.
I still don't know this word. They're saying all these things, and I'm like,
Yeah, can I go ahead and order something with the noodle?
I don't know, but they were wonderful, and you can point at the menu, and they'll bring you the food, and we ate, and
Oh my gosh.
and obviously, traveler tip here. Whenever you're with someone that you love and you're on vacation,
Ruh-roh.
you know what you do. You order different stuff.
You do.
And you just assume you're going to share that portion with the other person.
For sure. In
and-
fact, I would be I don't think we've ever gone anywhere and I'm like, I will just totally get the same thing you will.
No.
It's
never
like, no,
do.
we always get different stuff simply to share.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's something here we've done a million times and
Yeah.
that's just what we want.
Yeah, look, I
we'll
know-
take two of those,
Yeah.
or whatever.
I know what
But,
Taco
like,
Bell tastes
right.
like. Okay, you don't need to be tasting this bean burrito. We've got this covered. But yeah,
Yeah.
over there, we're
For
going to
sure.
share these things.
For sure.
And so
I got the ravioli.
Yes.
With the pesto.
You got the pesto.
Yes.
Yes.
And do you remember what you had?
I got the ravioli, and I want to say it had a red sauce on it. I
Yeah.
don't think it was a strict marinara, though.
Yeah.
It was a really light sauce, and it was delicious.
Oh, it might have. Oh, well, yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, we'll put the menu on.
Oh, yeah.
Like you said, on
we'll
the website.
put the link to it. And, of course, for the website, just make it more fun for you guys, it's in Italian.
Yeah. Get
You
those translators
Get
out.
your own Google Translate
Yeah.
going. I just got to go there and point. They brought me food. So anyway,
Yeah.
Genoa, memories of Genoa are great architecture,
Yeah.
beautiful city, incredibly clean.
Yeah.
Very clean place. And just fountains and buildings and
amazing.
whatnot. And this
Stuff to look at.
yeah.
And we were there for, an afternoon.
Yeah.
So it was perfect.
Yes, and very walkable, very easy, and all that stuff.
Yes.
And so, if you ever go to Genoa, if you're on one of these cruises or just like a day trip, you don't need to book an excursion because you really can't screw it up. I mean, anywhere you walk, you're going to be absolutely
They
fine.
have these, like I said, some of the most beautiful centers, just, parts of town that have like fountains and things that you can see. And then, of course, there are like palaces. And I mean, it's a beautiful place. And like I said, it's the hidden gem, some people say, of Italy.
Beautiful. If you
Yeah.
can go, you should. You
Yeah.
absolutely should.
So what do we do next?
So then we get back on the boat. Take our little witch doll. Yay! Get on the boat. Sleep. And we say those 4-part series. One of the parts is just going to be about the boat itself.
Right,
We're going to
exactly.
do that. But first,
Yeah.
going to tell you about all these ports of call. The next one we go to is, and I screw up the name on this.
I'm going to let you do it just so I can correct you.
Like it's an Italian flatbread that I still can't pronounce. Civitavecchia.
Okay, I'm going to spell this
Okay.
for our listeners.
Okay, I'll write it down.
It's Civitavecchia.
Oh, Civitavecchia.
It's actually
Yeah.
Civitavecchia.
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 See, once again, I don't blend. Okay, so now here's the deal. When you're going down, so think of Italy as a boot, right?
Yes.
The top of the boot area, that's going to be Genoa.
Yep.
This is mid-boot.
Oh, I like how you put that.
Yeah, coming down.
We're mid-boot.
So we're going south down Italy. We go to
Civitavecchia.
We go there, which as they will advertise, it is the port that you can get to Rome
Yes.
from. Rome is not on the coast; it is inland.
Right.
So
It's about an hour inland.
It's about an hour
from this port.
Yes. So here's what we did. So we birth BERTH. We birth there.
Sure.
We're a birthin', and so we walk in. This is a beautiful little place, by the way.
Now, here's the deal. Whenever I get off a cruise ship and I'm going to do something, it's either we've booked an excursion and we're being taken somewhere.
Yes.
Or I kind of want to get off and get to somewhere quickly. This was not like that. It's a walk to get to where the train station is.
It's about a mile.
It is. But here's the thing. It is nice. You don't think, oh, I've got to walk a mile.
No, it's pleasant.
Because it was kind of like a carnival.
Yeah.
Because it's a beach, like, little community. And they had, like, all of the cool kind of beachy carnival stuff.
Yeah.
They had funnel cakes and, like, food stalls. And there was, like, merry-go-rounds and, like, stuff for the kids. And it's, like, on the water. And people were out at the beach.
Yeah, it was a great day.
I think it's, like, Rome's beach.
Yeah, and remember that we're doing this in early January.
Yeah.
And so the weather was surprisingly mild and perfect. No
Gosh, it was
problem there.
sunny and gorgeous.
Yeah, it was really nice. And we're sitting here thinking, you know what? We want to do this. We want to look around and we'll get on the train and we want to go to Rome.
Yeah.
Because I say Rome, I mean the Vatican.
Sure.
Because the Vatican, I'll tell you about the Vatican here in a couple minutes, but I want to take you to the Vatican. I've been once before. You had never been.
Yes. And you have to remember, like, for this particular trip, this was a cruise. You don't have a lot of time.
No.
You are basically there for the morning into the evening.
There's a running clock going.
There is a running clock.
As soon as you get off that boat, there's a countdown going on in your head that says you got to get back on this boat or you're not going to get back on the boat.
So you can't do a whole lot in Rome.
No.
If you do it by cruise.
Yeah.
You've got to kind of visit there, and that's next time I want to go and do it proper.
Oh, you want to do like a week in Rome?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to do like a month in Genoa.
Sure.
Great towns. So as it turns out, so it's like, okay, so we'll get there, and we get there, and we've missed the train, and the train comes hourly.
Yeah.
And it's an hour to get there and an hour to get back. So you start doing the math already in your head. It's like, are we going to have time to do it?
Right.
We actually looked at, and there are cab drivers out there saying, hey, do you want a cab? And it's like,
It was a bit pricey.
Yeah, that was a little bit much. And so.
It's like €100.
Yeah, and I.
Which probably makes sense because you're going an hour in, an hour back.
Right.
But I'd rather train it if we can make it happen.
Yeah, and so I'd resign myself to the facts, like, we're just not going to make this happen. And then Marie's like, oh, we're going.
Oh, I got determined.
We're
because
going.
I at least wanted to see Vatican City.
Yes.
Because like you said, you had been before. I didn't want to just come to the port, walk around and get back on the boat.
Yeah, because that's
and we
like.
did still have hours. It was just making it time, like perfect.
Making it time efficient,
so we asked some questions at the train station, but I ended up going back and just looking at the board and going, okay, there's something I'm missing. Because there was a big gap in the train we had just missed and the train we thought that was the only one coming.
Right.
And I was like, no, that can't be. So we went around to the other side and that's how we pieced it together.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
we
you
ended
did
up
that.
being able to go.
Yeah. So what happens? The train comes, you get on the train, and the train was very nice.
It was so efficient, clean, and amazing.
And here's what actually makes it work is that when you're going to the Vatican is northwest of central Rome.
That's what it was.
So if
we
you
were
were to-
looking at the trains going to Rome.
Yes.
We should not have been looking at the trains going into Rome proper.
Yes.
We should have been looking at the ones at the stop going a little bit north first, which not everybody takes because it's not a direct route.
Right.
So that's what you got to do as a tourist is you got to figure out, oh, wait a second, maybe I need to look at the route a little bit differently.
Yes.
And then you get there. And that was the timing. That was everything.
That's-
I put that together.
You put that together because the thing is, all the train stations basically go to Rome Termini, which is the Rome terminal. It's the main terminal
Yes.
in Rome. It's
Yes.
downtown Rome. You don't want that.
No.
Because then you would have to go into Rome, turn around, and go back to the station at Vatican City, which
Yes.
is called San Pietro.
That's right.
You want to go to San
Yes.
Pietro.
Yes.
And if you do that, it's on the northwest edge of Rome. So I guess, I don't know if we actually went into Rome. We went into the suburbs of Rome because
Sure.
Vatican is its own little autonomous country.
Right.
So,
That's
hey,
so interesting.
Yeah, so we totally went there, and I did not know. Well, I think I knew this, but I didn't remember at the time. It is the smallest country in the world, has 121 acres, 825 people.
That is so interesting to me.
So
it's its own country.
yeah. So we get
Wow.
So we get off the train, and it's like, okay, let's go walk from Italy into Vatican City.
Yeah. And that
And-
was cool because you get to walk through a neighborhood.
Yeah.
And you get to see some of their local like eateries and stuff and shops and whatever.
Yes.
And it was beautiful and it was clean and everybody was nice. But I'm glad we did this because you can't, like I said, you can't do Rome. So do this as
Yes.
an excursion and do it on your own because
Yeah.
you don't need someone to take you really unless you're going to do the tour
Yes.
inside.
Yes. And here's the thing. When we get there, let's explain something. And this is going to be vitally important for everyone who understands where I'm going with this about the Vatican. We went on a Sunday.
Yeah.
They're closed.
Right. It's, it's
They take
a thing.
They take Sundays off. Okay.
A little bit.
It's-
Sure.
It's in the Bible. It's like, oh yeah, Sundays, and they take it pretty seriously at the Vatican. That
I'm sure.
Sunday. Yeah. Okay. I get it.
Yeah.
So we say, okay, so we cannot go to the Vatican museums.
No.
So let's differentiate between that. Vatican City is still open, and what we did is that we go hauling in there, and we wind up going to basically this big open air area.
Yeah.
And there it's St. Peter's Square. You see St. Peter's Basilica.
Beautiful.
Massive architecture, stunning place.
And you get the feels.
yes, you
Because
really
it's
do.
very beautiful and it's very like holy.
It's
and
humbling.
It's very humbling.
You walk in and go,
Oh my gosh.
Wow, this is impressive.
Yeah, and I know we have a lot of listeners that might not have Christian background, like, and that have whatever faith that they follow, and that's what they do. I think though that just looking at the architecture and being there and looking at everything, everyone can get something out of this.
Yes.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, just if you just go walking through saying, "Well, I'm not Catholic or Christian, but I do like good architecture, I like
Right.
good art, or just the something, just the importance of something."
Yeah.
This is a place to go, and it's open 24/7. You just walk in and go,
Yeah.
"Wow,
Yeah.
this is amazing."
It took my breath away.
Yeah, it's really nice. So we stood there. We got the pictures. We put coins in the fountains.
Yeah.
And we just sort of looked around and said, wow. And then we saw the Swiss Guards.
I know, and that took me aback.
Stories of the Swiss Guards. I've got to tell you some stories right now. The Swiss Guards, okay. They are not only is the smallest country with the least population of all the countries in the world, and there's
So
like
cool.
200 of them.
Yeah.
They are also looking to have an Olympics team,
That is so cool.
which will be with nuns, priests, and Swiss Guards. How do you root against a nun?
I know, and like if you're Swiss Guard, you're like all like pumped and trained.
Yeah.
Oh, I totally root for those guys.
Oh, I'm betting on the Vatican in the Olympics. I don't know if you can bet on the Vatican or not. It's probably a rule against that. But still, would that be cool? I mean, it's like it's the Swiss Guards. These guys are. Here's the background. You're saying, but why are there Swiss Guards in Vatican that's surrounded by Italy? I shall explain very briefly. History.
Sure.
In 1506, Pope Julius II, he started the Pontifical Swiss Guard. It is one of the oldest military units in continuous operation. They've been
Wow.
around for 500 plus years.
I can't even.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Soldiers to join, you gotta be Roman Catholic.
Sure.
Duh. And they're called halberdiers. They have a halberd.
Halberdiers.
Halberdiers. And the halberd, that is the thing. It looks like a battle axe sword type thing with a pike on.
That's cool.
It's cool weaponry.
Yeah.
They're sworn in, and after they do their training and some serious training.
Yeah.
And by the way, while you're one of these guys, you have to learn Italian. That's part of the gig.
Sure.
So you have to be in shape. You have to be military ready and all that, and learn Italian. When they swear you in, you have an audience with the Pope.
Oh wow.
You bring your family. And
Yeah.
you meet him. It's like cool. Now here's the deal. They are always, you will see them because they have these red and yellow and blue striped ensembles. These uniforms, and they're so cool.
Yeah.
If they are standing silently with their weapon in hand, they are on honor duty. Don't approach them.
Oh wow.
They're actually on guard duty.
Wow.
If they're standing there and they're holding a weapon,
Yeah.
walk away.
I did not know
They
that.
do not want to talk to you. They're literally on honor duty. That's
Wow.
the thing.
Okay.
Now, if they're standing there and they have their hands folded and they're facing the crowd, if there's no weapon in their hand, they're just standing there.
Yeah.
Go on up and talk to them.
Oh.
They probably speak your language.
Cool.
They are each multilingual. The outfits, I don't want to say outfits, the uniforms, I'm sorry. I mean outfit.
Yeah,
it's like,
'cause this
it's an
is a
outfit.
serious thing.
But
Yeah.
it is. They are sewn by hand by Vatican tailors. It takes 30 hours to make each uniform. And then after the Swiss Guard member, after he leaves service, they destroy that uniform so no one else ever wears it.
Wow.
And you don't take it with you.
I had no idea.
That is absolutely true. So
That's pretty cool, I have to say.
so I'm thinking, wow, there's a lot of things. Now, let me back up for a previous year because I got to go.
Yeah.
And when I got to go, it's like, I want to go see the Vatican. Here's the deal. You can go online to see the papal schedule if you want to go see the Pope. And
Yeah.
if you want to tour the Vatican.
Yeah.
Tons of websites, tons of tour groups, tons of operation. In fact, when you're walking around, not on a Sunday, but any other day of the week, there's people outside. Hey, you want tickets to the Vatican? We'll get you.
Right.
It's all sorts of that, and that can be a little bit high pressure.
Yeah.
Get your tickets online first. We'll post the link on our website.
Cool.
On the Vatican. Here's what happens. You go online. I made a mistake. Because when I travel, I don't always plan everything in advance, as Marie might remind you of. Sometimes I just forgot. I was going to Vatican City, and you look at this website, and you go, okay, the Pope is going to be in town. I would like to go see the Pope and have an audience with the Pope. There's Papal Mass. Well, it's a Papal Mass, basically. I didn't get tickets in advance.
Right.
However, if you approach a Swiss guard, and remember how to approach them when they're just standing there.
Arms folded.
Yep.
Okay.
And you literally walk up to him and say, hi, do you have tickets to the Papal Mass tomorrow? The guy's like, sure, how many do you need?
Oh my gosh.
That's all they're the nicest, coolest guys.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I'm just like, wow, okay. I got the tickets. Then the next day, when the Papal Mass was, stood in line, went in, and sometimes they're outside because of weather. We were inside in a big conference hall. There's a Papal Mass. It lasted about an hour and a half. It's in multiple languages because they'll say something in Italian and French and Latin and English. I think Spanish. I think they do like 6, 7, or 8 languages. They'll say a
Chinese?
verse. I believe so.
Yeah.
There's something. It's Japanese, Chinese. I didn't know all the languages, but I
Yeah.
know there's a lot that I don't speak.
Sure.
And here's the cool thing. You're standing there and you look over. Hey, there's the Pope. I've actually seen the Pope.
That is super cool.
And just go, wow, there he is. So then when you do that, that is one thing you can do. The tickets for that are free. If you ever want to go to the Vatican Museum,
Yeah.
those tickets cost money.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's the thing where you can go online in advance and book the tickets, book the tours and all that stuff. And again, you have tour guides or you can just go on your own. I did not have a tour guide with me, but I'll tell you this, the Vatican museums are amazing.
Yeah.
There is more artwork than you could possibly comprehend.
Yeah.
And yes, I did get to go to the Sistine Chapel
That is so cool.
and go, wow, I'm at the Sistine Chapel. And one thing about the
Wait,
what?
it's the 16th chapel,
Oh,
right?
yeah. When he was, Michelangelo was painting 15 chapels, he goes, yeah, why don't you take the next one? So he did the 16th chapel.
That's from a film, if y'all don't know. It's from The Breakup.
Vince Vaughn.
I just think it's hysterical.
And Vince Vaughn's never been in a bad movie, ever. He's awesome. So as it turns out, Sistine Chapel,
Yeah.
and you go there, 2 things about the Sistine Chapel. Number 1, you cannot take pictures in there.
Right, I'm sure.
And number 2, it's taller than you think.
Oh, yeah, I would imagine.
It is massively tall. You walk in, it's like, wow, the ceiling is way up there. So the fact that all the proportions and stuff work
Right.
from the height that you're looking at
Is like totally
stunning.
Yes.
We've
And
done-
everybody talks about that. Everybody jokes about like, how did he paint it all the way? Like it's like you know.
He had like ladders and scaffolds,
sure,
guys.
but to make the aspect ratio
Yes,
and the
to actually make it work.
Yeah,
So
and like,
from that distance,
yeah.
from that height, you go, wow. So anyway, yeah, Vatican Museum closed on Sundays, couldn't go. Vatican City itself, you can walk in any time, and you can get there if you take the train from Civitavecchia.
Civitavecchia.
It's a lovely place. And so that we saw, and we walked around for an hour and a half, I think we had.
It's beautiful.
And then we got back on the train and zipped back and managed to get back on our ship.
So I'll say this on the train, if you do enter the port, come in by ship, if you don't fly into Rome and you kind of go in to either, see Vatican City or go into Rome or whatever, I will say this, the train from the port inland, you go through towns. And you also go through little, like, not cities, but just like little, little towns.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the Roman countryside. Mm-hmm. Well, as countryside as you can get closer to the beach.
Right.
But, like, it's gorgeous.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It was beautiful.
Italy
Loved
is a
it.
very nice place. And
Yeah.
again, when we go through, it's like, okay, this is all good.
Yeah.
So Genoa was great.
Yep.
Next
Civitavecchia was great.
Civitavecchia with Rome
Vatican
and Vatican
City. Yep.
Awesome.
All right.
Get back on the boat.
We get back on the boat.
Now we got stop number 3 to talk about. In our Viva Italia cruise.
Italy.
Yep. So we go through Italy. Fine. Now the next one is not the mainland of Italy. It is the island of Sicily.
I wanted to go to Sicily.
This was on your hit list for
yeah.
like forever. You wanted to go to Sicily.
This was a dream of mine.
And because there's one particular food that my wife loves.
I love olives.
She loves olives.
I love.
For some reason, it's like we go. It's like, hey, literally, I'm not making this up. So it's like, okay, we're gonna go on a cruise. We're gonna do this. All was like, I'm going, and she actually said, they have those olives there.
I did.
Like,
That's
what are you talking about?
Wait, that's the Castle Travano olives. And he was like, huh? And I was like, they're green, and they're only like, I think they are like from Sicily. Like I was like, we are going to get. I literally wanted to go get those olives, and then I looked at it, and he was like, huh? And I went. And they have a big food market. This is literally why I am the way I am. It's because I am obsessed with the foods.
No, I'm just saying that I had all these things planned. It's like we go to the Vatican, and then we'll go to here. We'll be on a lovely cruise, and it'll be a honeymoon. And you're like,
nope.
They got those olives, right? How the olives were. It's like, what are you talking olives? I didn't know. To me, an olive equals olive. So we go to Palermo.
Yes.
Now, let me preface this by saying, and this really kind of dictated this, which was unfortunate for us. We were only there. We docked at 11, had to be back on the boat a little bit after 5.
And we had one excursion we actually absolutely wanted to do and planned for.
Yes.
Besides eating olives and going to the market.
Yep.
But like it was the one thing. And we didn't get to do it.
Didn't get to do it.
But we're going to talk about it so you guys can do it.
Yeah. This was, I don't want to say poor planning, but it's like we only had 6 hours. There are a couple of things we wanted to do. So
we didn't know when the boat was going to dock. I mean, you can look up somewhat of the itinerary before you go.
Yeah, and then the day
look
of
up some stuff, but like,
Yeah, we find out early morning. It's like, by the way, we're just there for 6 hours, and the place you want to go is closed for a good chunk of that time.
It was closed from 1 to 3.
Yes.
And I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
And it's not in downtown Palermo. It's a little bit off
out
the
of the
beaten
way.
path.
And they tell you that you have to get there an hour ahead of time in order to do the tour.
Yes.
So it's either you get there and you're late and you miss the hour ahead of time.
Yes.
Or you wait until they open back up and then you miss getting back on the boat. Either way, we were kind of screwed.
Yeah.
We were like, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. I'm not a physics professor, but I know that this math is not working. So here's the deal. We'll get to that in a second. But first things first.
So we opt for the other thing that we did.
Yeah.
Which was we booked the hop-on, hop-off bus.
Yes.
And we have never really done that.
This is the most touristy thing we've ever done.
It is, actually.
You know, because I'm always like, oh, hop on, hop off bus. I'm not going to do that. It's like, hey, this sounds like a great idea.
I just wanted to see the part of the island that we docked on.
Yes.
Palermo.
Yeah.
Which is on the
northwest side.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know what? I kind of want to see this place.
Yeah.
And there's a lot that you can just walk around and do, but it is kind of spread out a little bit.
Right.
By looking at the map, I was like, I don't know. I think this is worth the money.
Yeah.
So, and worth the tourist experience.
Yeah. And unlike Genoa, I don't want to, it's just two different experiences because Genoa, you can walk. And if you want to take the double-decker bus, you can. Palermo, you really need to take the bus.
You kind of do.
Because it's not that it's more spread out, but it's not as walker-friendly, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot more stuff to get through, and the tourist activities that you want to see are more spread out.
Yes, they're
not as centralized. So we said, okay, so we're going to get on the bus.
Yeah.
And we missed the first bus by about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And then we had, oh boy, don't tell me I wasn't in a fit of rage.
But for those of you who don't know, the hop-on, hop-off bus is it's in a lot of cities. It's for tourists.
Yeah.
And you get on and you can get off anytime you want at any stop. So if you get on and you start it and then you get off at stop 3 at that, destination, that thing you want to see, that location, then you can hang around there for an hour if you want.
Right.
And you can hop back on.
Yeah.
You can walk from one stop to the other if they're close. And so you can see one thing on the list of things to see, walk over, see the other thing on the list, and then get on the bus there. So it is kind of, and they give you little headphones.
Yeah.
And you can plug in and they do a little speech on the bus. So you can literally also just stay on the bus.
Yeah, you can stay on the bus and do a couple of laps if you want. It's not a big deal. They don't care. It's like you're basically
your ticket is for the whole day.
Yeah. So we said, okay, so we get on the bus.
Yeah. So it starts and it takes you through the main gateway to the city. And it's the monumental city gate, and it's called the Porto Nuovo. And you go down and you start on the most ancient and the main city street of the city. It's the gateway to the Casaro. So you go down the Casaro and then you listen to all the stuff and then they start to take you to the attractions.
Yes.
All right. So there's a couple of things you need to see on this.
Yes.
There's a couple of theaters. Now, the two theaters you need to see are the Politeama and the Massimo. Let me tell you the difference.
Okay.
All right. One is where the symphony is, and the other is where the opera is. The Massimo is where the opera is, and the Politeama is where the symphony is.
Oh, imagine my chagrin. I went to the wrong event at the wrong place. Oh, really?
But let me tell you why a lot of tourists go.
Aha.
Well, the architecture is one thing.
Sure.
So the
Beautiful
Politeama
buildings.
has neoclassical architecture. It's really, really beautiful. But the Massimo Theater is where they filmed the final scenes of The Godfather 3.
Oh.
So all of the whole like thing that happens with Michael Corleone and his
whole family and all that stuff.
I'm not gonna give any spoilers.
That's okay.
But
I
it's
haven't
a
seen-
big deal, and it's the ending to the whole trilogy.
Oh.
To Francis Ford Coppola's film.
So you're saying I need to see this movie because I still haven't seen it.
And now this is when I'm like, what? You haven't seen The Godfather? What is wrong with you?
You're still mad because I haven't seen like Pretty in Pink and 16 Candles.
John Hughes.
You found out last night I've never seen the movie Say Anything.
I know. It made
And
me
that was
very
a fight.
sad.
What?
I wondered where my boombox, like, when you ever gonna do that? It's because you haven't been schooled enough. You haven't watched the film.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna wake up one day. You need to be standing there with a boombox, playing the song from the.
Boombox?
Okay, yeah, I am old, y'all. 1980s. I just told a friend. We know these little like. We had to go to the vet. I'm gonna digress for a second.
Okay.
And the vet tech was like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, because you had your trapper keeper and your caboodles, and she about died. She about fell out. She was like, "What's a trapper keeper?" And I was like, "What? Oh my God, I can't." That's right. You're younger than me. I'm so old. I'm a product of the 80s.
Trapper keepers and boom boxes, are ya?
Trapper keepers, boom boxes, and
Yep.
caboodles.
Yep.
For those of you that know, you know what? This is happening right now. If you hashtag trapper keeper, boom box, or caboodles, if you tweet us or hashtag that and tweet us or any of our on any of our socials, we'll send you an autographed picture. I think that's fun. I think that's going to be so much fun.
Back when
hashtag trapper keeper.
Back when Eisenhower was president, they had the old trapper keeper. Kept away the Red Scare. What are you talking
Hashtag
about?
80s child.
Okay, that
Okay.
being said.
I digressed. Okay, so that's where it was filmed. So a lot of people go there. So those are 2 stops on the hop on hop off bus. You take all of the fun out of my
No,
my
I'm just saying
speech.
trapper keeper. Okay, but there are very cool
Yeah.
things. So yes, Godfather Part 3 was filmed at that museum, but
Okay.
other stops as well.
All right, there's also the Royal Palace of Palermo. It was a
Yes.
Norman palace. It was where it was the seat of the kings of Sicily during the Norman domination. It now houses the Sicilian Regional Assembly. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Cool.
It's called the Palazzo Reale or the Palazzo de Normande.
Oh.
It's the Royal Palace of Palermo, and it was really pretty. And we walked around on the outside of that and saw
I love hearing
and
you
it was-
speak Italian because you do it so well.
I
actually.
do it. Someone's gonna be like, "It's not right," and I'll be like, "I know." Fake it till you make it.
Working on it. Sorry.
So that was really pretty, and that's worth seeing.
Yes.
It's a beautiful structure. There's also the Palermo Cathedral.
Yes.
And this is the Roman Catholic Church of Palermo. It's where some important royal and imperial burials have taken place, like William the Conqueror. And there's a lot of history there of which I don't know and would never portend to know of because I'm bad at history, y'all.
Yeah.
So let me just be real about that. But anyway, the one thing that one thing that a lot of people do go there for, not only for the history, because a lot of people do go there for that.
Yeah.
But there is another reason, and it's a tragic thing. There was a priest, and they did like a book and a movie on this and everything. And his name was Pino Puglisi, and he was a priest who practiced in the neighborhood of Brancaccio, and Brancaccio was controlled by the mafia.
Okay.
And so he went against the mafia.
Ah.
And they murdered him on his 56th birthday.
Oh.
And so he is interred there.
Got
and
it.
so a lot of people go visit that.
Got
It's
it.
another stop, but here's the thing. It's gorgeous.
Yes.
The inside, it's like, I can't even.
It's stunning.
It is beautiful. It's like, I think it's Baroque or whatever. Like, it's just so beautiful. And that's where we stopped and had gelato.
Yes.
And so that was really nice. It's a nice little neighborhood to walk around as well. And so that was really cool to see. And I found the gelato that we had.
Yes.
I found it on the
Oh,
web.
really?
It's called Bar Morocco, and we're going to put the link on our website.
Got it.
So if anybody out there listening is like going to see the Palermo Cathedral,
Yeah. Then you want to go do
you want to
this.
go across the street and have this gelato.
Yes.
All right. Aside from that, there's a lot of like Norman castles that you can go tour and see. And you can take buses that go just about an hour across Sicily from Palermo. And there's fortresses. It's just really cool. There's Catania, which is a bus ride further. I think it's southeast from Palermo. And then there's Porto, which is south.
Yes.
And so there's lots of Greek temples in Porto. I mean, there's lots of stuff you can do. It's hop on, hop off. But if you take a longer bus, and then you can see Palermo proper, but then also go out and see some of the other things.
You can go to the outskirts to see some really cool stuff there as well.
For sure.
Now, here's the deal. But you skipped the one big thing when we went out. Because we went to the open air market.
That's right, because we had the market, but here's the thing. The reason I forgot it was because I was trying to, they don't just advertise on the hop on, hop off, go to the market.
No, they do not.
That was just something I wanted to do. So let's talk about that. But I tell you what, we had to walk through the English Garden to get there.
Yes.
And that was gorgeous.
It was.
And so I will say the English Garden with all of its lakes and its fountains, it's really pretty too. So yes, let's talk about the market
We
now.
go to the open air market. It's Ballaro, B-A-L-L-A-R-O, Ballaro Open Market.
Yes.
We go there and it's like, wow, it smells great. It looks great. Everything you want. We found your olives.
So I get the olives, and I tried my best not to buy a bunch of food that we couldn't take back.
Yeah, because you can't take
eat.
it. Yeah, and take it back on the boat. They don't want you to do that.
But they have, and it's a market for the locals.
Yes.
So they have all of your like dairy, your meats, your fresh veg.
Yes.
And it's all locally it's just amazing.
And it amazes me that more tourists didn't go there.
I know.
Because it's such a cool thing to do.
They have spices and stuff too.
Yeah.
I mean, well, here's the thing. I think we were there during the off season.
Yeah.
Because the reason I knew about it as a because I just like to read about culinary stuff, is because it's one of the best places to buy spices in all of like Italy. And so like, that's, and you see that when you go, but it wasn't very busy, and it wasn't, it's because we were in the off season.
Yeah.
But so we get the olives and we go back to the park and we eat the olives.
And
it was
olives
amazing.
and it was good. And this was the point where we realized that there's no way we're going to make it to the one place that we wanted to go to. Did we ever mention where the place was that we wanted to go
we
to?
should do it now.
The Capuchin Catacombs. It's basically a whole bunch of dead people.
I think
there are catacombs and bodies and all that stuff, and they are closed from 1 to 3.
I think this would be just the reason to go back.
Yes.
I mean, I can't believe we missed this.
Yeah, it's the one thing we wanted to do. And again, you're in town. You land and you got to be back on the boat. It's like, I think the window was 11 to 5 or 11 to 5:30.
Yeah,
Not a lot of time. And they say the catacombs going to take an hour to go through it. Plus, you have to wait there.
Yeah.
And then they're closed from 1 to 3 right in the middle of the day. There's no way we could humanly get there.
So the reason you should go is because this is where the monks were, right? Mm-hmm. And then that's where they were buried.
They're buried. A lot of people are buried there.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And so, but they're buried in a
massive
way where they're just kind of hanging out.
Yeah.
And so you get to see all that.
And you see people that are well preserved and embalmed and stuff like that. So we really wanted to go. And see, that's the thing for the Capuchin Catacombs. And this is where I think we're going to have a disagreement.
Us never.
Because look, when you get down to it, as it happens, sometimes there are, you think that you would never argue or just sort of bicker with someone on a vacation. It kind of happened again. It really did. Should we just go to our argument right now?
Sure.
This is the part of the program where if you think of the movie, the series Friends, where Monica and Joey have different viewpoints. Let's do some role playing in a minute, shall we?
Two totally different people.
Oh yeah, it's time for Monica versus Joey.
It's game on. It's time for Monica versus Joey.
Okay, I'll say this right off the top. If I'm going to be perfectly 100% transparent here, I did not like Palermo that much.
Okay, that's all right.
I really didn't. To me, it was a nice place, but it just came out of Genoa, just came out of Vatican and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
I got there and I thought it would be a little bit different than it was. And I don't know what I expected, but this was not what I expected at all. And I'm being honest. To me, it was, I don't want to say it's like Macon, Georgia, but I just went there and I think I expected too much. I just rolled in and it's like, it just felt a little bit off to me.
Okay, it definitely was not as flashy as the other places. Mm-hmm. And so when you're thinking, I'm going to Italy.
Yeah.
This was definitely like, this was the real deal. Like, this is...
Real deal Holyfield.
Yeah, this was the real deal Holyfield, Italy. Like, it wasn't like, Italy. Like, it's okay. It's okay.
Well, my thing is like Monica versus Joey. Here's the discussion part of the program.
Yeah.
If I'm the Joey, I just go in and say, it's like it was having a bad hair day. It's the only. It's like to me, I just didn't register with me. I guess I was frustrated that I didn't go see the catacombs that I wanted to see.
You were very upset by that.
Well, I was just ticked off. It's like really the one thing that we had planned and we couldn't do it.
Right.
So if you're like me, Joey, in this situation, I'm gonna go. You know what? I don't want to go back.
I want to go back, and that's why I'm different. Like I want.
Okay, Monica, why?
I want to go and here's the thing. I will never say no to going back somewhere because I always feel like you can do something different every time.
Mm-hmm.
Because home is where you do everything all the time, all the same. Like that's like what you do, your routine. So when you visit somewhere, even if you visit it multiple times, it's never going to be your home. And so I want to do different stuff. And I was also disappointed we didn't get to go to the catacombs. So I want to go back and have a do-over. But, it's a lot of money and it's a lot of time. So I totally get if you're like, I don't want to go back. Like I did it.
Yeah.
And so,
And my thing is there are so many cool countries and great places I want to go to. Me going back someplace, it's going to be highly unusual. I just don't know if this place is the one that I'm saying, of all the places in the world I could go to, if I had unlimited resources, whatever, would I go back there? It's like, I just don't know. So that's the thing. It's like, do you forgive the bad hair day and go back and give it another opportunity like you would? Or I'm just like, I don't want to, you know what? I probably would go again if I knew that I could get these catacombs knocked out.
I think that, there's a lot of places where if it was convenient and I could do a stop off on the way to somewhere else, I would do it again for sure. Yeah. And so I'm not as I'm not as opposed, I guess, to visiting somewhere more than once. Especially if it's convenient. Mm-hmm. So but I definitely want to go back and see that specific thing. Whether or not it's worth it to plan a whole trip, I mean, I might, just because it's one of the things. What's that list you always talk about?
The bucket list?
Or no, the
list of 1,000 places to see before you die.
I think this is on it, isn't it?
It's up there. Well, here's the deal. Let's agree to disagree on this one for a simple thing. Yeah. If we ever manage to take another cruise, because this is a bustling port city and a lot of ships stop there. If we ever get there again, what we'll do is we will go there. Yeah. But we made the mistake on this one because the MSC Cruise Line, they actually had a trip that you could just say, we'll take you to the catacombs. Like, no, we'll find it on our own, which was a total mistake on our part. Next time, we'll book that through the cruise line and have them shuttle us up there and back.
Sure. And I'm positive that 1 to 3 closed thing had nothing to do with the excursion. Yeah. Because if you're on a cruise ship that gets there at 11 and leaves at 5 and you paid for the excursion through the cruise line,
they're opening the doors for you guys.
I'm pretty sure that you got it done. Yeah. You did. That actually, I feel like, is my mistake because I was kind of pushing for, we don't need to go on no stinking excursion. I was like, we don't have to go with them. And then, which is funny because I'm like, we don't have to go with the flow on that. Let's go with the flow on the other touristy thing and get on the hop on, hop off bus. Yeah. But no, I really felt like we can do this on our own. Yeah. Clearly we couldn't. So sometimes you just really should book through the ship.
This is true.
Yeah.
Monica versus Joey, agree to disagree. All right. That means that, sometimes we're just trying to pass along travel information and call them like we see them. But, as we're looking through these things, we do come across little bits of information that we do want to pass along to you.
Sure.
That's why we always have a special section called This Travel Nugget.
Ooh, I like a good travel nugget.
Upgrade my travel brain.
You love a good travel nugget, don't you?
I love it when you upgrade my travel brain.
Travel nuggets are awesome, and we got count them two this week. Number one, if you're going to the Vatican, and we said there's a website you can go to check out about the papal audiences, the papal schedule, the Vatican history and all stuff, Vatican.va. It's the .va, it's like .com, okay? So Vatican.va, the VA stands for Vatican again. And that is where you go to find all the official stuff about who the Pope is, where the Pope is, what the Pope's going to be doing, stuff like that. It's the schedule. It's the papal calendar.
Love it.
So if you're thinking, hey, I'm in the ballpark and want to go see this guy, is he even in town? Because sometimes he's out on missions to South America or North America.
He's a busy
Asia.
dude.
Yeah, he's all over the place.
He's poping.
He's poping worldwide. So
every day I'm poping.
What?
That's probably what he sings in his head.
No, he does not. He says, hey, I'm from the Vatican. Now I got to go back again. So as he's doing that, Vatican.va, that's the place where you want to go. Yeah. Also, the second website I'll give you is raviolihouse.it.
Yes.
But it's not spelled ravioli with the I. Take the I out. It's raviolhouse.it for Italy. That is the ravioli house that we went
ravioli.
To. I'm salivating
ravioli.
Again. You cannot talk about ravioli from this place and not expect me to start drooling.
I have to say,
uncontrollably.
This entire show I've been hungry.
I've gained 3 pounds just talking about pasta. So those the nuggets. And one more segment as we wrap up. We always say, you know what? As we're going through all this internet research and the nuggets that we pass along, the helpful web links, sometimes we come across things that are just
what?
Inconceivable. It's time now for What the Holy Guacamole.
What the holy guacamole are you talking about?
Let's say that you cannot travel as much as you'd like to because of COVID.
Sure.
Maybe you're just broke.
Oh.
Maybe you've got a passport that doesn't work. Maybe you just
Story
can't
of
get
my
out.
life.
Oh,
the broke
boy.
part.
Oh, honey, let me tell you. There is one company that's now looking to help people to take their next vacation while they're asleep.
Okay, hold on. What? No, I don't believe this. This is ridiculous.
I kid you not. This is not a falsehood. This is a true hood. Travel company Love Home Swap has launched its Dream Tourism service. It's in partnership with a dreaming expert named Charlie Morley. I swear I'm not making this up.
Hold on. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
I just had to take that in.
The company is offering a free dream passport. It gives people tips for how to dream up their next vacation and actually go to those places while they're asleep. I'll give you some details.
Okay, first of all, I call BS. I'm not gonna
You call Braunschweiger, don't you?
I'm not gonna be on a vacation in my dreams.
But you'd save so much money and not get a irritable suntan or sunburn or whatever. Here we go.
How can you even make this happen?
Well, I will tell you the details. The guide that gives you scientifically proven techniques. Science has backed this up now, including
is that it? Okay.
Dream incubation and lucid dreaming. That's where someone is aware of themselves during a dream.
Cool.
So lucid dream is where you
Sounds
know
very
you're
Freudian.
dreaming. Okay. Here are the techniques
Okay.
to follow in the dream passport. They include, here's what you do at night before you, like, let's say we want to go to some place like Athens, Greece.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we'll go to Athens, Greece, for example.
Okay.
You study the place you want to visit before you go to sleep. So you start reading articles about Athens, Greece. You write out details of your dream vacation about Athens, Greece.
Every time you say something, I want everyone listening to picture my eye roll. Because this is not. This is
get ready to roll your eyes more because it's still coming.
Okay.
You draw pictures of yourself in Athens, Greece.
Eye roll.
And then you write short affirmations about wanting to dream about your trip to Athens, Greece.
Eye roll.
Okay. So as you're doing this, then you will have a dream about Athens, Greece.
Oh my God.
And you mean, what? I am not making this up.
Okay, dude. This is what happened.
But you duded me.
I duded you, man, because that's how bad this is. Okay. This guy, what's his name again?
Charlie Morley.
Okay. Charlie Morley watched an episode of American Dad.
Yeah.
Do you remember that episode?
Oh, yeah.
When
Yeah.
he wants to go work and the family wants to go on vacation.
Yes.
And so he puts them all under
Yeah, so it's all dream sequence
and they
type stuff or
they
whatever.
dream they're on vacation.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
a dream vacation machine he hooks them up to or something.
Oh, this is like the movie Inception, only different.
Except not as good.
Yeah.
Like this is I mean, what? Who paid? I want to find me somebody who paid for this. I gotta know.
No, it's free. It's free, I tells you. It's available on the company website. The Love Home Swap Dream Passport website has these things for free. And to do everyone here a favor, I am not posting this as a link on our nuggets for Voca Vacay because, listen, if you dream it, you can do it. No, if you do it, you do it. Okay? So just stop.
Let's have a serious conversation about
Sure.
this, though. Let's say that it is in the future.
Athens,
and
Greece.
you can actually really do this. It is really real.
Sure.
Because we've hit the science, the technology, everything.
Okay.
This is vanilla sky. Tom Cruise is loving it.
Great.
And, he's you can definitely have an entire different, reality or a vacation. Okay, we're there. Fine. Okay, here's my question. Why would you do that when you can just go there and actually smell it and touch
Athens,
it
Greece.
and feel it and create a memory?
Athens, Greece.
I guess it's just a difference between
Athens, Greece.
believing you've done something and it being real and then doing something that is real and treasuring that memory. I don't know. Maybe there's not a difference. Now I've just talked myself into it. Maybe in the future, this could be an option. And because
It's not an option.
if it's free-
it's never an option.
I don't believe so either.
How do you take pictures? How do you get souvenirs? How do you eat olives over there? You can't.
That's true.
Even though you're dreaming you're in Athens, Greece.
But if
it doesn't matter.
If they tweak your brain enough to make you think you've tasted an
blah,
olive.
blah, 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 blah. No, I'm not living in the Matrix. So if I won't go to a place like Athens, Greece, I will not be Keanu Reeves and dream it. I will simply get on a plane
You're
and
the
go
Matrix,
there.
man.
There you go.
It's got you.
All right. That being said, well,
That is interesting, though. I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah.
Because this can give our listeners something to debate about for,
Goal, you
hours
go
on
debate
end.
it. You'll have fun on the internet by yourself. I'm not posting a link because I think it is farcical.
Okay, fine.
That is simply me. Anyway, one thing you should check out online is the Voca Vacay website.
Yeah.
VocaVacay.com. And as always, we're on all the social mediums.
We're on the socials. And don't forget to hashtag TrapperKeeper.
Yeah.
Or hashtag 80s Child.
Oh, boy.
Or hashtag Caboodles. Mm-hmm. Or what was the other one?
No,
I
that
can't
was
remember
it.
now. No, there was another one.
There was?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Any John Hughes movie you've ever seen in your life. That being said,
Hashtag say anything.
check us out on VocaVacay.com. And of course, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and every place else. And hey, we'll wrap it up right now, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks. So,
Which is like a fortnight.
we'll see you in a fortnight. So remember to live vicariously through yourself.
And vacation like it's your job.
There you go. We'll see you next time, kids. Love ya, miss ya, mean it. Bye.
Don't forget to click subscribe. As always, hashtag Voca Vacay at Voca Vacay and visit VocaVacay.com.